Okay, going live with Pamela Steele here in the Psychic Cafe. Come on in, grab your coffee or tea, and pull up a chair, and let's hang out. We are talking bind runes today. Woohoo! Rune magic, folks. That's right. I already see people starting to come in the chat. Dan's in there. Hi, Dan. First name, last name. Yes, literally, they put as their first name and last name for their screen name, first name, last name. A lot of times I
Me,
just call her First. Hey, First. Haven't seen you in a couple of shows, so it's nice to see you again. How you doing, Pamela?
I'm doing awesome now that I found the right place to turn the sound off.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, by the way,
Hi,
guys, let's get you set up before we get into things so you can check it out. We've got a handout for you. Now, here's the link. Psychic.cafe/bind runes will take you over to the handout for all this fantastic information that Pamela has put together for us. And I'm going to grab that link. I'm going to try to grab it and copy and paste it into the chat so you guys can just click on it. There it is. Psychic.cafe/bind runes. Yeah, we're not a .com, .net, .org, .cc, all the .co. We're a .cafe. So you just open a new tab in your browser, type in psychic.cafe/bind runes, all together in one word. Bind, BIND, runes are RUNES. And then you can follow along on this handout. I'm just trying to find it so I can share real quick. And this is what the handout looks like. And you got all your runes on here. And then look, all the dates and everything. This is really cool. And Pamela's going to explain all this to us because we're like, what?
it's all good. It's all
So
good.
how you doing today before we get started there, Pam?
Oh, roughly perfect. Roughly.
Roughly?
You know what? I'm sure whoever decided on daylight savings time knew that someday I would be born, and they'd said, "I'm going to really piss that girl off. I'm going to switch her time zones around at least twice a year." And they've proven scientifically that this is very hard on people. You shouldn't be doing this. This is bad. It's psychically, psychologically, mentally, all of it. Like the whole system crashes whenever you jump ahead for an hour.
Yep.
And it takes about 6 months minimum for it to re-regulate so that you're kind of used. And then they change it. Then they give us back our real time. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
curse you daylight savings time. I just hate it, and I shouldn't because I shouldn't
It's
be.
Well, it's a good thing you brought that up because I wanted to explain to the audience. I've been dealing with this for over 15 years doing these shows, and we have start times around the world because we're heard around the world, So I'll post about like London time and New York and LA and Denver Mountain Time, Chicago Central Time, and the thing is, when I lived in San Diego, it wasn't a big deal for me because the shows didn't change their times. We just moved the clocks back. So 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern here on the weekends. And it was fine. When I moved back to Arizona, we don't change our times here. We don't have daylight savings time. So the rest of the world shifts an hour and we stay the same. So up until today, we were on roughly what's mountain time in the United States, an hour before Pacific, right? So now that it's shifted, we're on Pacific time. So the shows are starting 11 a.m. Pacific, which is 11 a.m. here. For the last 6 months, I've been starting the shows at noon. So now I got to set up everything an hour earlier. In fact, I woke up late and was my alarm didn't go off. Yes, that still happens to you even at our advanced age. That's a isn't that a high school slash beginning work thing where your alarm doesn't go off? No, it happens your entire life. And so I had a rush to get everything set up because I didn't have that extra hour, and so I just wish they would get rid of it altogether. One thing I wanted to mention, like I said, the shows are still 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Um, it's just me, I got to start the show an hour earlier, but that's not working for me for the weekday shows. Now, we were doing shows Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. We stopped doing Monday, moved Thursday to Wednesday. So basically, there's only one. It's on Wednesdays because we have all the weekend shows, and then a couple of days go by. We have Wednesday. A couple of days go by, back to the weekend. Now, we were airing those shows at 5 Pacific, and here 6 p.m. And I can't start the show an hour later at 7 o'clock. I just can't do it. I got to do it at 6. So now that I'm on Pacific, we're moving the time on Wednesdays. It's going to start at 6 p.m. Just like it's going to start the same time for me, but it's going to move an hour for you guys. So instead of 5 p.m. Pacific, it's going to start at 6, which means on the East Coast, instead of starting at 8 p.m., it's going to start at 9 p.m. 2 a.m. in London. I don't know if anybody's awake, but so I just wanted to give everybody that heads up because it's starting now, today, and going in. So the weekend shows, Michelle's Mystic Corner, the Angelic View, and then when those are every other Saturday, every other Sunday, and all the other Sundays and Saturdays are these shows, Psychic Cafe Live. All those weekend shows are going to stay the same for you guys. 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. That's 7 p.m. in London. See, I've been doing this so long, Pamela, I could just do it off the top of my head. But the Wednesday show, on Wednesday, tune in at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. So heads up on that stuff there. And I already see more people coming in. Freedom is in there. Krista has come in. Krista's Game Vault, love that. You must do a gaming channel, don't you? Let us know, Krista. Um, and they're putting some questions in. We're doing a mini workshop. We can't guarantee that we're going to have enough time to get to questions, but it's going to be audience participation because Pamela is going to be, showing you how you can do your runes. Yeah. So Pamela, let's dive into it. Magic with runes, eh?
Well, it is kind of magic, really. Um, what I wanted to, it's just basically an introductory workshop so that people kind of get used to runes and watch for them in everyday life. Mostly because they're all around us. We just have to open our eyes and see them. And there's your message. I mean, your messages are all around you 24/7, 365. If you have, if you know how to read them. All right. It's that simple.
Oh, you brought that up. It's funny you bring that up. Because I talk about that with tarot a lot. I tell people, you know how people look for signs and there's the repeating number patterns and all that kind of thing. When I'm out and about, I'll see a billboard or something over here or something over there, and I'm like, well, if that's not the Tower card, or if that's not the Queen of Wands, you know, and you'll start, when you work with tarot, you'll start to see tarot cards out and about when you're out and about, or even in your own house. And that's a sign, that's a message coming through, just like what you're talking about. People can see the runes.
Mm-hmm. So what it comes down to is in this little handout that I've made, and don't ask me where I got all this information because I don't have a clue. It starts out by giving you the runes, okay, and basically their name and a one or two word as to what they stand for or represent. Now that's just the ballpark in there. There's a lot more to it, but we're going to stick to the basics for today. So what we're looking at are birth runes. It's kind of like your horoscope, but done with runes, okay? because the first rune that you're going to look, if you scroll down on your handout there, you'll find the words birth runes. And your first rune, the one that you're going to start with, is called your solar rune. And what you need to do is find your birth date, and that's your first number, or that's your first rune. Okay. Um, let's see, it starts June 29th to July 14th, and then it goes all the way through the calendar. But it's kind of strange. I mean, when I first found this, I wish I could remember where. I thought, well, that doesn't really even go month to month. They've got their own little technique happening here. So what I did was, well, for example, mine, the first rune that for my birth month is is called Fehu. It's basically the first, well, it's this one. Okay. Can you
Okay.
see that? Okay.
Yeah.
And then you go down further, and then you have to get to your second rune. So you're going to end up with two runes for your birth runes. Okay. Um, the second one, it's a little bit trickier because if you don't know a 24-hour clock, it took me a while to start to think in those terms. But because there's 24 runes, you're going to have a 24-hour clock here. And what it's done is it's say like okay. The first one is 23:30 to 30 to 30 minutes. And that's the okay, that's the very first one. So that would be from say midnight to midnight 30, roughly just right before 1 a.m. Okay. And when you find what hour you were born, the time you were born, you might need to look it up on your birth certificate. I happen to know what time I was born. That's
Okay.
going to give you your second rune. And my second rune is this one, which looks like the letter P, which it isn't. This does
W-
not represent the letter P. I know that.
But it's so perfect, Pamela.
I think so.
Pamela.
But it's the rune for joy.
Oh.
About But
So
anyway, what you
let
do
me
is you,
let me
yeah, go ahead.
can I break in and clarify because I'm following
Sure.
along or trying to follow along. So you pick your
Month?
date. I want to call it like a date spread. Like I'm looking at the 14th of June to the 29th of June because I'm the 16th.
Yes. Okay.
And so
That'd be,
that's
yeah.
how do you pronounce that? Dagaz or
Day
Dagaz?
gods. Day gods.
Dagaz. Okay, yeah. First vowel is long. Okay. Dagaz. And then I was born around 1230 ish, 1235. So that's Fehu. How do you pronounce that?
Fehu.
Fehu. Now here's the interesting thing, Pamela.
Huh?
I'm not a runes person.
Nope.
Okay.
Not yet.
But I have seen runes, of course, and the one that I see most frequently is the Dagaz.
Really.
And, and it's one of my runes. Now,
There
talk
you
about synchronicity there, right?
go. Uh-huh.
I've also
Uh-huh.
seen the I don't want to butcher it again. Is it Fehu?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Close
I've
enough.
also that's another one that I've seen frequently is Fehu, and I just think that is really interesting because if you're not a runes person, you don't. I mean, I think I had a set of runes maybe 25 years ago. Um, Never did much with it, never really studied it, right? And I keep thinking, if you don't really study them, but then you're seeing when you see a rune or what looks like a rune and it happens to match up with your birth runes, I'm calling them birth runes, like birth cards,
You
you know,
do that.
it makes sense. It's like,
Yep.
oh my God, that is such a synchronicity. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I just had to tell you that because I thought it was really cool.
It is very cool, exactly. And when what I'm saying is, you look at a room like Kenaz or Kano, it depends on who is writing the information down. Is to some of the pronunciations. I think it's going to go by dialect and district.
Oh
This
yeah.
is the this is the way I learned it, so this is the way I present it. But when you look at the rune Kenaz, it stands for an opening. But when you're driving down the road and you see that symbol, you know that the road's going to go that way. But if
Mm.
you're really into it and you're thinking like, okay, what am I looking for? Like, how is this applying to me? And you've got something in the back of your mind and you see that symbol, all of a sudden it starts to go, oh, click. The opening that you need is coming to you or is in that direction or is, but it does, it still makes it. So, but so anyway, if you want to, what I did, hold on just a second.
Yeah.
Where's my thing? Where's my thing? I'm going to move my camera. So I'm going to
Oh,
stop it
while
for a
you're
minute.
doing that, real quick, Michelle says her birth runes, uh, Ihwaz and
Mhm.
Uruz, and it's strength and defense. And
It was.
I was just
Yeah,
telling Michelle in the chat that that is so you, strength and
it
defense.
is. Definitely.
What a lovely day. That's Nicole. She says, Dax, you're a Gemini. My birthday is June 18th. Well, you're a Gemini too. So cool. And you have the same one, the Degaz. That is so cool.
Pretty cool. Yep. Okay. Anyway, let's see, where are we? This is my whiteboard. Yay. And these are the two runes that represent me. And this is the easiest way to show you. So
Awesome.
when you're creating a binder in magic, what you do is you, first of all, learn your runes, at least the ones that you apply to you and the ones that mean something. And the first one you're going to do is the month. Okay. So you would take that first rune. Oh, look at me shaking. Give me that. This is really hard to do because I'll do it down here. I can see down here. Okay. So the first rune you're going to take is the first, well, your month, and you're going to draw it out like pretty much like so. And then you're going to take the second one, which this is the rune for joy, a rune joke, and you're going to draw over it again. So you're going to go with your straight line, and then you're going to make the second rune over the first, and that's what your rune looks like. Okay, it's that simple. And for Dax, where is it? Ew, I think my kids have had a hold of this thing. Little kids. For Dax, you'd start with Degas,
Okay.
like so. And now, because this is a little bit, I mean, you don't have any similar straight lines, what I would do, I would start with it this way down here. Then you've got this one and you've got this one. So there is that binds your runes together. And what that
Oh,
does
that's
is,
so cool.
isn't it cool? And what that does is that combines the magic and makes it more, it's like two halves of a whole are more influential, more powerful than just the two halves, right? So when you combine them, you've got something even stronger and better. So what this essentially means is that you've got this is Degas is the root for day. It's also got another meaning, but right now it's escaping me because let me look.
By the way, Pamela, you know how the P looking one, and then your name
Yep.
starts with P, and
Mm-hmm.
Dagaz starts with DA, and Dax starts with DA.
Mm-hmm. It's
That
just
is
too
just
weird.
crazy.
Let's see, where is my there's my light. Now
But
I can see.
I had an idea, Pam. It's
What's
like
that?
with the combined rune, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, perfect tattoo to get.
Oh yes. Oh, definitely. I've had a lot of people do that. One of my excuse me, favorite book on runes is, and I wore out one copy, completely wore it out, and it's this one. It's called Using the Runes by D. Jason Cooper, and I found a used one and paid way too much for it, but that was okay because my original, come here, you poor thing, my original is literally falling apart on me
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
after 30 some odd years and notes and written and everything else. But what I like about this book in particular is it not only tells you what the runes essentially mean, it gives you a lot of other inside information, especially if you're doing runic readings, because it tells you what they mean if you draw them upright, or say you draw it upright reversed, or you draw it upright face down. How about that? or you draw it upright, face down, reversed. I mean, face down, reversed. I mean, there's all kinds of different information in this book that just completely, it would take weeks to go through it all. But this is why I'm sticking to just the basics. I highly recommend this.
Yeah.
Um, if you
Oh,
can find it,
Dan says in the chat, I think Michelle has that book.
oh, that would be fantastic. Yes. There's also smaller books. There's Runating, this one. I've been through it. It's accurate. It's got the right idea. And oddly enough, this rune itself stands for wealth, which I think is kind of cool. Um,
Yeah.
but cattle, in other words, is what it stands for. But what are you doing holding that? But it's basic. It's very basic. And that's another one that's pretty good. And then where's the third one I use for reference when I need it? Bugger. I must have loaned it. No, I did. I would never loan that book out. Um,
I'm wondering something because my runes are wealth and day. Am I supposed to be a day trader?
you
Yeah.
probably should. But that's the whole thing. That's why I was grabbing that book because Degas is also, let me find it. I will at least do this much. Okay. Oh, there we go. Interpreting the runes. Mm-hmm. And since it's at the very back, oh, okay. It's a culmination of matters. Okay. All a successful conclusion, whether negotiation, enterprise, or education, spiritually indicates attainment and the transmutation of consciousness to a higher plane. It's like a dawning of a new age more than day. Okay.
Mm.
The rune is the power of the sun, which was life giving day. So partakes of the power of the various sun kings, such as Jesus and Mithras, sorry. It's the power of renewal, and in divination, it shows the growth of that success in all forms. And you combine that with, there again, Fehu, which is good fortune, fertility, and all that good stuff, then you've got a very powerful rune right here. Okay? Or bind rune is what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. And yes, they do make amazing tattoos. Oh, I've used them for all kinds of things over time. Especially like when I was building my house and I accidentally sliced my hand open. Oops. But I had blood pooling in my hand. I thought, well, go get a band-aid or well, something bigger. But I took it and I started drawing runes over my doors and windows in this house I was building. And the energy and the magic that that place pulled in was unbelievable. I don't recommend doing it in blood. I really don't. But
Ah.
it happened. It just, oops. Yeah, I really cut it good. Some kind of an accident or actually a train wreck looking for the next curve in the mountain. So it didn't really surprise me. Okay, now what else have we got here? Let's see. Okay, Dax, can you find me
Dan is
what
Fehu and Isa or Isa.
Isa?
Yeah. And so I looked at it and I was like, oh, frozen wealth. That sounds like Dan. Yeah. His wealth is
And that's pretty
frozen.
much it. And I mean that is one of the simplest ones, easy to do.
Oh. Hey, do you want to
Which
do
is
another example uh like maybe Michelle's?
sure.
Um Now I gotta scroll back. Michelle, what was your runes?
Oh, I found him here. Hold on.
Ewas and Urus. I wish I could speak Celtic. Yeah.
Me too. But actually, the language that's really, really close to Gaelic,
Yeah.
it's almost identical. It's Cree.
Free. Ah.
Yeah, Cree. And the Native American that is in my ancestry is Cree, which is what I'm figuring. That's how my Scottish great grandfather was able to talk his wife into marrying him because she was Cree.
Hey,
But that's pretty,
that's fascinating though. That's
isn't
fascinating.
it? It's pretty cool. Okay, and Dan's, these are Dan's. And where did I see Michelle's at?
Uh,
Ah, let's see.
yeah, it's Iwas and Urus.
Okay, well, we got strength
Strength and what's the other one? Strength and
and movement.
where's the Iwus? Defense. Strength and defense.
Oh, Ewaz. Okay,
Iwas. Yeah.
okay,
It's like the Ewoks in Star Wars, folks.
kind of. Okay, strength and defense. Because I was looking at the other one. It sounds a lot like Awaz, and that's for movement, but that's okay. Okay, and this is Michelle. Okay, so for Michelle's, it's there again. Which one was first?
Hers?
Oh, she said he was. Okay, so
Oh,
he was being first. You always start with what's first. So, and this is for defense, strong defense. Okay, I've used this 100 times for a lot of different things. But then to do the rest of it, it's kind of tricky because you don't want to really make too many lines because it really makes it. It seems to irritate the crap out of the energy. So what I would do is I would to do the second one, this one, I would do that, that, and that. That's really
oh,
basic, really simple.
yeah.
And I mean, with Dan's, oh my gosh, anybody brain dead could do this one. You start with Ewas and then you stop it. I made a mess.
Oh,
And
oh.
can you
It,
tell my kids have been playing with this? It's not very clean. And
your
anyway,
camera
Dan's
froze
you
up
would
for a
start
second too. So go ahead.
Dan's here and then just add. Okay.
Yeah,
That's all you would do. And this is what you would end up with.
because
Okay.
that Issa is just almost like an
He's a straight
eye,
line up. Well,
straight
it's the
up and
favorite
down.
weapon of the frost giants. And if they show up and want their lawnmower back, just give it to them. Okay.
Oh yeah, I I saw the frost giants in the movie there
Did you?
with Thor. Yeah, Thor had
Yes.
in one of the Thor movies they had the ice giants.
Yeah, and they're really snippy about their lawnmowers. Anyway, okay. What else? Who else wants to? What else? There's my run book.
Well, I know Nicole said her second rune is Gabo, and
Evil. Yeah.
yeah, her first rune is the same as mine because we were both born in within a day or two. The Degas.
Okay. So, and I'm sorry, brain is not functioning. This and the other one
Degas
is
and Gabo or
Evo.
Gebo.
Okay. Yeah. Partnership actually. Okay. That's
Perfect.
there again. It's pretty
Oh,
self-explanatory.
so that's an easy one.
When you take the two together, yeah, once in a while they get tricky, but then all you do is repeat. But make sure you cover every line twice. It's
Right.
not going to just automatically flow into it. It doesn't work that way. Um, no, it doesn't work that way at all. But this is there again. It really it looks like this one with a really wider, just a little bit wider in
A
there.
little bit wider. Yeah, the X
Yeah,
part.
to accommodate the X. Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But make sure that you pick up something even like I said, even this little one, this little book on by Rennie Shishel. She's so gosh, my tongue. I need maybe never mind. Um, but even this one, like it's there again, it's basic.
Yeah.
Like it originally signified cattle, but today it concerns personal property, movable wealth, negotiation, and it's very direct, and that's what I like about it. It's so basic. And another thing I really like is that it. I actually wrote a book on that one time. It also asks questions for each rune that helps you kind of increase your knowledge of it. All right. And they're numbered. So yeah, if you know your rune numbers and it's easy to find, makes sense.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay,
What's the
what else?
front cover again?
Um,
Uh, See, and I love the title Rune Reader because it makes, tarot reader, rune reader, it makes me think of that.
mhm, mhm.
Very cool, very
I
cool.
think so too. I love it too much. Okay, who else?
Who else? And hold on for just a second because I see a bunch of people coming in, and let me grab the link again.
Okay.
If you guys don't have your have the handout yet, oh shoot, I'm putting that in the wrong spot, aren't I? Where is the chat? There it is. I couldn't find the chat. So open a new tab in your browser or click on this link, put in psychic.cafe/bind runes and download the PDF handout. And you're going to, okay, let me find the handout again. Okay, and it's going to give you all the runes. You're going to scroll down, look at the dates. Okay, like I'm looking for June 16th when I was born. June 14th to June 29th is Dagaz. Okay, so that gets you your first rune. Second rune, what time of day were you born? So I was born like 12:35 ish. So I'm looking at the 12:30 to 3 to 13:30 hours, which is 1:30. Fehu, and that's how you figure out your runes. And then all the way, scrolling down, Pamela also put in all the runes and a little bit about each rune. Okay, so everybody in the chat, if you haven't already done it, pop in your runes and we'll do the binding. Is that what we're actually doing when we're putting the two together? Is that the binding, or is binding
That's exactly right. We are binding them together into a single usable, workable force.
awesome? Before we go on and do some more, Pamela, it's the bottom of the hour, so I'm just going to do the little heads up on shows coming up and so forth on the network. We talked about this a little bit before, where now the Wednesday show is going to start at 6 p.m. like Los Angeles time and 9 p.m. Eastern, so like New York time. So this coming Wednesday, what's your life path? And if you missed it, let's see if I can find my notes here. Shoot, I don't have it down. Okay, so yesterday we had Michelle's Mystic Corner, and she started us off with numerology, the basics. And next Saturday, she's going to do numerology and learn them on. We're doing What's Your Life Path this coming Wednesday. We've got What's a Numerology chart later in the month on the 23rd, and what are master numbers on the 30th. So it's kind of the month of numerology, folks. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. You probably got the email. If you're not on our email list, just go and join Psychic Cafe. It's free to register on the cafe website. You get your own profile and everything, and you'll get put on the email list, what's coming up and everything like that. So this Wednesday, the new time, 6 p.m. Pacific, what's your life path? And then the next show, Saturday, March 15th, numerology and Lenormand. And then the angelic view on, what was that, the 15th? So on the 16th is the angelic view. There you go. So that's some of the shows coming up. You guys can always find this. Let me go to the link here. If you just go here, hold on a second. Events. Alrighty, I'm gonna put that in the chat too while we're thinking of it. Events. Put the link in there. Psychic.cafe/events, and you'll see all the upcoming stuff. Also, of course, you can always find it. You can always find it here on the YouTube channel, upcoming live streams, right? There, there you go, folks. Okay, so back to Pamela. Pamela's
I was going to point something out too. In a lot of rune sets, now this is not these are the originals as far as Nordic runes go. But some of
Sure.
the later sets, like in the last 50 years, have included a blank rune like that. And some say it's the rune of Odin. Other people say it's well, I made one just because a lot of people asked for it, and it's called well, I always called it the rune of destiny. Um, but let's see, dark day, da 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 da. Ah, the empty one. This is what she calls it. Um, it's literally a drawing a blank, in other words, but I've never interpreted it that way. I always found that whenever this one did show up out of the blue. What about Krista? Can you guys hear me? Everything's still good? Okay,
Oh, I
Dax, I
was
have
I
one.
was muted. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Oh,
We can hear
yeah, I
you.
can now. Okay. Because
I
I
gotta
don't know
edit this.
who else is who else was in here looking for runes, looking to buy for bind runes. Because I've got
Somebody else had put it in. Let me scroll back. Okay, we got okay, that was Michelle's. Krista, yeah. Did you do Krista?
yeah,
Yes.
I
Yet.
didn't do hers yet.
Okay, so it's ANSUZ
Mm-hmm.
and W
This one.
U N J O.
Wunjo.
Wunjo. Wunjo.
Joy. Um, oh my goodness, I've got one. Anyway, yeah, Wunjo is joy. And it kind of looks like the letter P, this one. Okay. So these are the two runes that she's got. I think we did something really similar to this a little bit ago. You take your first one, being this. Is my hand still in the camera? Good.
Yeah, we see it.
Okay, this is the first rune. And then you're going to add, oops, that's a little bit long. And another thing, I'm really super picky about my freaking runes. Don't get me wrong. I just, Anyway. And then the second one, when you add joy to this, it comes down like a soul.
Oh,
And
that's
the way,
really cool.
isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
But just paying attention to the lines and they essentially what you're drawing here are lines of power. Now, everything else in your Nordic, Gaelic, Celtic world is all squirrels and scrolls and knotwork and intricate weavings and all this other stuff. But runes, no, not so much. They're just straightforward. And so I had to really work on that because it didn't make any sense to me where everything else in their entire genre is, well, okay, now what? I mean, there again, it's curls, it's interwoven, it's a whole bunch of knots and swirls and scrolls. But these are just straight lines. And somebody said, well, it was probably because it was easier to carve those on stone. Yeah, but what about the fancy borders they put around them? Come on, that's got to be more to it. And then one night I was sitting around minding my own business, not paying too much attention, and I was playing with these. And out of the blue, it hit me like a bolt of lightning. It's because lines of power do not recognize boundaries. They will go straight through anything. There is no stopping them. So, what you do whenever you create one of these, you create a very powerful
It's like ley
representation.
lines.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly like ley lines. Because let's face it, I mean, it's good stuff. Really good stuff over there. That one.
Oh, and Ginger came in. Hi, Ginger.
Goodness. So, who else wants to know their magic rune?
Well, I got a couple questions. Plus, I need to say hi to people in the chat because Ginger
Hi.
came in, host of the Angelic View. I don't know if
Oh, hi,
Maria's
Ginger.
here. Maria was here yesterday. I don't know if she's here today. I see Michelle, of course, and Dan and Charlotte had popped in. We got Charlotte's. We can do Charlotte's next. But I also
Okay.
I wanted to ask some questions, or at least, I was thinking we started doing this, and I don't know, I might have missed it because I was reading the chat, and so I might have missed the beginning, and you may have already explained this, but I'm unsure. Okay, so we we said we're binding the runes, and we described how to get your two runes, but why? Why are we doing this? Why are we binding?
Why do you read your horoscope?
Okay.
Okay.
But with
When you
runes,
take
that's
one,
not
okay,
making any sense
okay,
to me.
what, okay, look at it this way. Um, say what I was talking about was like taking two halves of a whole. Okay.
Hmm.
One of them alone has got a lot of power and a lot of direction and a lot of influence. Okay. But when you take the second one and blend them together, what you have is something way more powerful, not double, more like quadruple and even more. Just because this is the way it works for some reason, and I don't know why. But two, another thing that you'll find is on occasion, when you combine two runes together, you're going to get a third one in there too. All right. So watch for that.
That's cool. That's
It's
cool.
very cool.
Yeah.
I've done, um, I don't think I have any with me on, oh, darn it. But I've done travel charms. Okay. This is a fun one. I did a travel charm for a friend of mine who was going to go on a third world adventure, and he was never, ever, ever, ever going to India again because he hated it. Okay. Just not going to happen. So what he did was as he's getting ready to leave, and he was only going to be gone 3 months. I made him a personal, but he's Nordic too, like Nordic descent. So I made him a little travel charm for protection, directions, anything to kind of help him, on his journey. He ended up being gone 6 months. He did go to India. He was offered the chance, and he said he felt so confident about it. He went, and when he got back, the first thing he did was call me and say, "OMG, that little charm you gave me is phenomenal." But I noticed, I think I used four different runes in it, like four different runes bound together for this travel rune, and phenomenal. I don't remember exactly how many I could find when it was all said and done, but it covered everything from strength and wisdom and the journey itself and a joy and defenses. Everything that you needed was in that room, that single room. And
Mm.
I put on a
So
uh,
this is okay. Let me try to clarify this a little bit because there's a bunch of people out here we have no clue on runes. Okay.
yeah,
And so you were just talking about so we've been binding the runes from our birth date and time. So that's
to
like a
increase
that's
personal
like a
power.
that's like a personal one. And then
Yes.
and now you're talking about we can use the same method to bind two or more runes to create uh an amulet or some other kind for some other purpose.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
And that's what I'm getting at is that for I know there's a bunch of people out there that have been doing runes all their life and they're like, well, it's obvious. But to us out here that we've never done it, I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? And so
You're collecting a whole bunch of little bitty rocks so that you can draw on them and make different bind runes for different applications. Okay, that's what you're
cool.
going to do.
So just to clarify, okay, so that is what rune magic is you're able to do this binding.
Well, yeah, I mean the runes themselves are magic, and they're
Okay.
talking to you 24/7. If you
Okay.
just, but by the same token, when you start combining them
Like
together,
the
it's
numbers. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's like you get well, like you said, like lately it's been all about numbers, and it has been. I mean, every time I look at the clock, it's 3:33 or 11:11 or
Yeah.
something. There are the multiple numbers are following haunting, let's
Mm.
say,
But
the general.
numbers, in numerology, we don't look at numbers just as counting. We look at them as they're nine different separate energies.
There
And
you go. We've
so
got
it's a very
24 separate energies,
yes, that's very, very cool. Yeah.
and
And
you
so
can mix them together, or well, like in numbers, you can add them together to get a third number or a fourth even, that's something entirely different, something more powerful or whatever, right?
oh,
And you can do
that's
the
so
same thing
cool.
with these. Same thing.
And so are there other ways besides binding the runes, drawing them on top of each other like that, creating these new almost a new character, new rune that's a combination of two, three, four runes that has a specific energy for something that you want to do. Is there other ways? I mean, I know, the obvious one, the whole, you put it in the pouch and you reach in and pull out a rune and see what you get.
Yeah.
It's you're randomizing the runes like you would randomize tarot cards, and you're pulling out a rune or multiple runes or whatever. Is there other ways that folks use runes for magical purposes or
Oh,
any?
definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Definitely. If you go through the Steel Wizard, you're going to see a lot of runes in the cards.
Mm-hmm.
The same with the Eternal Seeker Oracle. There's a lot of runes in those cards. And they not only enhance, they help you focus. Okay. It's like I use the rune, my signature. I have a tendency to just my initials. Okay. So what I started doing was using the rune for joy. And because my initials are PS, the other one was that. And when I make it,
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
it looks. But if you look closely, it also looks like the rune for Canna, for growth.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can do with these. Um,
Yeah.
and
Boy,
it was just this is one of those learning curves that I just started playing with them about. Well, my youngest wanted to become a rune master when he was 10, 11, and I couldn't find one, so I had to learn it.
I
And
was think
somewhere
I was
in my
thinking
repertoire, what?
the Diaz, which looks like D's, and
Mm-hmm.
and I could write my name that way. Just
Yes, you could.
just put the rune for Diaz, and then just put X, or just or write out the AX, or I mean I don't know, could play around with it, figure out some kind of a or my combined rune, the one that's got shoot, now I forget it already because I don't know runes. Uh then I can't even find the worksheet anymore. Here it is. So I think mine was wealth.
Yes.
So Fehu, okay, wealth
Yep.
and Degaz. Yeah.
Yep.
But I just like Degaz by itself because it it almost has Dax in it. You know,
Yes, it does.
it's so and it has an X and two lines going down. It's like
Yep.
I like to just sign my name that way, just like there you go. That's my signature. You know how people sign with an X if they can't.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it.
Well,
Anyway,
it's so simple and it's so direct and it's so
yeah.
obvious, you know. Okay, so let's see. What else have we got in the chat?
So
Because there's got to be
Charlotte, well, we were going to do Charlotte's, right?
okay. Okay. What Char
So
got?
so Charlotte's is Mannaz, man
Manaz.
Manaz, and then her second rune is Thurisaz.
Thurisaz,
Thurisaz.
which is for protection. It's that represents a thorn, like a thorn on a rose. Okay.
Okay.
So for Char, this
And then we got gingers after that. We'll do gingers, and then we're at the
okay.
end of the show. We're at the end.
Really? We
Yeah,
did not go through that fast. We did not.
it's amazing. I could talk to you about runes for a long time here.
There you go, Char.
Oh, that is really
All I
cool.
did
You
was
did
this
that.
one, and then I extended and added. And once you've done this for a while, it's second nature. You just see how it goes together. You see how the pieces of the puzzle fit. Okay. Because this is what we're trying to figure out, like the meaning of life or whatever we can call it. Okay, we've got somebody else in there? I can feel it. Who else is in the chat that wants to get theirs done? Let me look. Let me look. Okay, was there anybody before Ginger? Because I'm seeing Ginger with Canaz and Degas. Gee, that looks familiar. Okay, So these would be Ginger's. I just found her and I just switched over to, yeah. Um, Charlotte, I love it. I'm listening to Jimmy Buffett channeling my inner pirate, eating chocolate and learning about runs. Sounds like my kind of day. But anyway, what I would do with this one, I would start, of course, you always start with your month. Okay. So that would be this one, right? But then if you want to get fancy with it, doesn't look like really much, but it is because there's your first rune right there. And that would work. Yeah, there again, this one you see it all the time if you're on the road driving, especially where I live, because I mean we can drive for I don't know, an hour and a half and not see anything except another hour in front of you. Um, but we see this a lot because in spite of the fact that the roads are the land is so flat, you do have a lot of curves in it because you got to go around the town or you got to go around the river or you got to go across it. Anyway, but yeah. So and watch and another sign, another rune that you will see a lot is tear. And this is the warrior rune. And the thing about the warrior rune, people think, oh, get a shield and a sword. No, 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 no. The Tiwaz is as the warrior rune, the greatest battle you will ever have is with yourself. Okay, because we do not have the patience with ourselves that we have with total strangers. So be
Mm,
aware that there's something in here that that's for everybody. All right. So watch for these signs as you're driving along and then ask yourself, what am I not seeing? What am I not what did I miss? And go from there because you'll find that there's a lot of um interaction. And I mean, because okay, well, Ginger, she's part of the angelic view. So I mean, these could be messages from the angels for her.
okay.
We take it from, and just excuse me, and just work with it, play with it, make sure everything's right. And there again, like the best way to, if you want to buy a set of runes, go for it.
Mm,
Uh, my first set was made Ralph Bloom, and they were ceramic, and they soaked up everything that they shouldn't, and I ended up giving them away. And then I made these, and these are made out of 200-year-old poplar. Okay, and they don't weigh anything. They're so light they don't you can't even feel them on your hand.
mm.
But this set too, it's over 50 years old now. Okay,
So,
anybody else?
so Ginger says, yes, we define our boundaries and limits and project those as coming from outside versus inner.
Yep, we do.
And oh, the store Faith Crystal sells runes. Yay.
Hmm.
Okay.
I've had crystal runes, I've had ceramic, I've had stone.
Oh yeah, I've seen like on all kinds of stuff. Charlotte, oh, I love this. Charlotte says, I'm listening to Jimmy Buffett, channeling
Heck,
my inner pirate, eating chocolate and learning about runes.
sounds awesome. But
Awesome.
I mean, this way though, what I always recommend if you really want to learn the runes, and you can buy these little blank wood things, believe it or not, on Amazon because I look.
Oh.
Make your own, draw your own. If you can't, if you're not any good with carving, these are all
Mhm.
carved and painted. But if you're not really much of a carver, you can draw them on. But just be aware that as you're drawing them, you're focused on it. You're putting your magic into that symbol. And that symbol is putting its magic back into you. So by the time you're done with all 24,
Yep.
pretty well know what you're doing there. At least on a surface level. I mean, there's so much depth to these that it makes you crazy sometimes.
Yeah, it's just like numbers and numerology,
Hmm.
which is a little bit simpler because there's nine numbers and then there's the master numbers, which are just made from the same nine numbers. So,
Yes.
and then there's the tarot cards. It's the same thing with a lot of these things where, I mean, my God, you go down the rabbit hole and you can just go and go and go.
But yeah, Ginger had already tried it because I'm just looking up the chat a little bit, and she was saying her first word is Canas and the second is Degas. And when she binds them, it just seems to be Degas. And yes, that's very true. But it's
Yeah.
carrying the energy of Canas with it.
Right, right.
You put it there, you put it there.
Yep.
And oddly enough, they say it either represents a dice cup for chance or the womb. I've had all kinds of input about that one, but it's kind of like tarot. Once you figure it out, once you get comfortable in your own interpretations and what they're talking to you about, their voices to you, it all makes sense, and you can't do it wrong.
Yep. Yeah, they're talking about it in chat. It's like this is the perfect Sunday afternoon, sitting here to listening to Pamela, learning runes.
Aw, thank you
Yeah.
guys.
But speaking of, perfect afternoon, but it's coming to an end because we're coming up on the top of the hour here. Um, Dan said something. Are the runes names of olden gods, or are they?
No, they're
No,
not.
I didn't think
They
they
are
were.
not. But they do. Each grouping, I've got them in groupings.
Hmm.
Um, Freya, I can't remember this guy, Hagel, and then Tyr. Like they're
Yeah,
representative. These each group is representative of a
I'm
different
looking at the
god
chat
or
here.
goddess.
Yeah, so I mean, gods were like Odin and Thor, and if you watch
Right?
Marvel, you'll learn a lot.
Oh my gosh, isn't that the truth?
It's
That's
hilarious. It's hilarious. Um, what was I gonna say? But the story I remember, and I always talk about this when I talk about the Hanged Man in tarot, that just like um the Hanged Man in tarot is, this person has hung themselves upside down. They've not been hanged in the
that's right.
traditional sense that we're thinking of Wild West, or crucifixion, somebody hang somebody or crucify somebody or whatever. They've hung themselves upside down. And I always tell the story of, it's like Odin and the Dressel tree, and he hangs himself upside down in order to learn the meaning of the runes.
Yeah,
And
but unlike Odin, I do not recommend that you sacrifice an eye to do it because
right, he
Yggdrasil
had to
really doesn't.
sacrifice the eye, and that's
Right.
why if you watch Marvel, he's got the pack.
That's right.
And later on, Thor loses an eye too. He
Well,
basically
when he
becomes his
becomes the supreme
father.
ruler. Yeah, when he
Uh,
becomes the top god.
I forget how long it was. It kind of reminds me of things from the Bible, 40 days and 40 nights. I think Odin hung himself upside down for like 40 days or something to learn the runes,
Something
or
like that.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact number. 30 days, 40 days. I think it was days though. I think wasn't months, it was days. But
No, it was days, and I thought I read somewhere that it corresponded to the runes. So for 24 days he
oh,
hung
that would make
there.
sense. That would make sense.
I remember reading that somewhere, but like I said, I don't know how much of this is. Well, this happened hundreds of years ago, and nobody was really around to record it. Darn it.
Damn it. But yeah, I just wanted to give that story at the end there because it kind of starts tying everything together,
It does. Yes.
and then the similarity between Odin and the Adressal tree and the Hanged Man and tarot is so close,
So much. Yep.
very close.
Mhm.
But that's people like wonder about the runes, where the runes came from, and then they know the story of Odin, and they're like, why did he do that again? It's because of the runes. So you could learn to divine and know the future and do magic and create and just protect and all the other things you can do with
and
the
live your best life.
yeah, yeah. So I'm sorry that we didn't get time to get to any readings or anything like we normally do on these shows, but when we do these workshops, and we did one before recently with Pamela, and then this one, and we're likely not going to get to mini readings, but we do so many shows a month with mini readings on it. So call us, join us on Wednesday and see if I can pop that up there. We're going to be talking about what's your life path, and it'll be 6 p.m. our new time, 6 p.m. LA time, 9 p.m. New York time. And and if you're a member, actually, you can dial us. You can actually join us on the Zoom live, either with or without camera, audio only, or cam and audio. And yeah, if you're a member of the guild, go over to psychic.cafe and click on guild, or you can go to, I'll pop the URL in, psychic.cafe/guild. You can read all about becoming a member of the Tarot Guild. And it's like $6.50 a month right now. Cost of a latte a month at Starbucks. And you get to join us live on these shows, ask questions, join us for these workshops, ask your questions, get mini readings, and the members, of course, get priority. You're right there on the Zoom. So this Wednesday, you could join us on the Zoom. Plus, you can get live mentoring and coaching for your psychic business. Maybe you're a tarot reader, psychic advisor. You can get mentoring and coaching for um, how to read cards, how to use numerology, learn a mind, everything like that. You're able to join us live for all these things, plus a ton of other benefits of becoming a member of the guild. Yeah,
Okay, I drew us a room for the day, and
great.
it's going to has many images of light appear in the rooms. What light of understanding do you hold or seek? What brightens your life right now? What
Mm-hmm.
darkness are you dealing
Trying
with?
to
What do
read
you
it.
shed light on? What knowledge, what enlightenment are you encountering? How open is your life to mystery, to light? Okay. This is our message for today. Make sense? Of course.
Thanks for that, Pamela.
Not
And
a problem.
and thanks for the mini workshop there.
It
We'll
was fun.
we'll uh, we'll do more and get more in depth in some of them and so forth as well. Thanks
We can
everybody for
definitely
being
do that.
here, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Bye
Yes. Thank you
everybody.
so much.